Alright, ladies and gentlemen, hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever of in which part of the globe you are located. My name is GhostSenpai, and well, this is gonna be Pac-Man World, one of my favorite childhood out of the Retrothon party since it's called Talking with Concades. When I was getting set up, I have been featuring all Retrothon events up to this date, so I didn't want to get out of the party. And well, let's start this morning with some classic action from the PlayStation with Pac-Man World. So I'm gonna prepare everything on my side, so just to be ready to start. I have a good amount of time to talk about what's gonna happen in this game and the run and that kind of thing during the run. So let's start right now, okay? So I'm gonna make my countdown from 3. So 3, 2, 1, go. All right, let's get the party started. Let's get the retro party started. And first things first, we're gonna start here at Beginner Beach. This is the first stage of the game, and we are kind of forced to play this stage. And you will know in a bit why I said that we are kind of forced to play this. So this is a pretty short stage that works mostly as a tutorial to understand the game mechanics. So I need to understand that the game was released back in 1999, and this was like the first actual 3D Pac-Man entry, and also this being a platform game. In a way that, okay, so if Pac-Man Kid game is a kind of maze game, for example, how we're gonna move that into a 3D universe for a new Pac-Man game. So first one, I'm gonna try to here, right in the corner, and I'm gonna do this kind of jump. So with this, I simply can avoid the original requirement to run over a static platform. So I was gonna move in with that. I'm gonna be able just to continue through this stage. And well, right from the beginning we can see the main movement mechanic, that you will see that Pac-Man is moving and showing kind of weird on screen. This is mainly to the move mechanic we use in this game, which is the zigzagging. So basically, zigzagging is just press up left, up right, right bar, right down, and vice versa. Because with this, what I'm gonna be doing is that Pac-Man is gonna move faster. This is the fastest way to have to move into the game compared with the roller walking. And also, I'm using the D-pad to play this game. The fun fact about this is that in most PS1 games, runners used to play with the D-pad because the analog stick is slower. And with this game, it happens something really interesting, because if you play with the analog sticks, you can use the left and also the right stick to move. So if you manage to zigzag using both analog sticks, you're gonna move insanely faster, but unfortunately that's not humanly possible to do. So we need to deal with what do we have. But it's not bad at all to just play with the D-pad. As a PS1 game runner, you get used to that. Also because I'm using the OG PS1 controller with no analog sticks to play this game, it feels really comfortable to play with it. So right now, this is Curse's Scope, and you will notice that at the bottom section of the screen, at the bottom right of screen, we can see the items we have got. We get some fruits like in the original arcade game, and also you will notice that I have a key. So which is this? Why do I need that key? Which is the purpose of the key on the game? Well, let's talk a bit about what's going on in this title. So basically, Pac-Man World, as the subtitle of the game suggests, this was like a kind of anniversary game for Pac-Man. So the plot of the game goes on that way. and we need to use the key to save one of Pac-Man friends that's located here at Tracy Canyon. Ooh! Okay. I was gonna say, okay, I was supposed to die, but unfortunately that happened because I pressed the score button instead of the cross button to get up on the rotating platform. It's still being fun. That's not like a big problem at all for now. Also, I really need to be careful with the amount of lives I have, so you will see that I'm gonna try to get some additional lives in the game, because if I die in the game, if you get a game over screen, the only way you have to continue is to save the game, but since that's slower, because that makes us lose a good amount of time, we don't use to save during the game. So what's exactly Pac-Man World, which is the plot of the game, and which category I'm playing, because now I'm realizing that I haven't talked about the category. First of all, I apologize because I just woke up a few minutes ago and I just have slept like 3 hours. But that's not like a big problem for me. I can deal with that, so... here at Pac-Man World, I am doing the all levels category, which is basically the intended any percent of the game, because the any percent category of the game just show how broken this game is. But don't worry, we're gonna still watching some weird and broken stuff in the game, because we need to abuse some glitches that we will find during the game in order to progress and being able to complete it. So all levels are still having its charm anyways. And also you will know later in the run why I like to run this category. I have been practicing any percent, and I hope that on a future Retrothon event I can bring this game again with that category. But for now, it's time to show why I like to play this category mainly. This is the last section of the stage, which we're gonna be able to find one of Pac-Man's friends. And once I'm done with this section of the game, I think that I'm gonna be having some time to talk about the game's plot and the objectives and what are we doing right now. I need to put here on this corner so I can wait until the camera moves with a good position in order to progress. And we have saved Puka from Big Duck, so... Fun fact, a lot of people think that that red ball is called Puka, when in reality it's called... Sorry, they think that that red ball is called Big Duck, but in reality its name is Puka. And now it's time to move to HMS Windbag, the first boss stage of the game. Something additional that I need to mention about this category is that this is the only category where we play the boss stages. Even 100% you don't play them. You use a glitch into the game. You abuse about something into the game in order to be able to skip these stages. Mostly since these stages doesn't add any percentage to the game completion, but are a part of our requirement in order to keep progressing into the game. So we completed the first section of the stage, which is basically a chasing section, and then, well, the second portion of the stage, we're gonna be pushing these buttons in order to make that we can throw back some of the cannonballs. 6 hits and we are done. Not like a big problem, but sometimes the timing with these platforms is not so good, so trying to optimize this is not a simple task. There we go. I was really on a really bad position to die there, and I'm gonna explain that in a little bit also. Oh well, and now I have completed the first section of the game. There are 6 sections in total on this island. This is the second section, and probably this is like the most boring from all of them, at least for me, and you will know in a bit why. So we are right now at Princess Cavern. Pretty boring and long stage. There's nothing here to collect, so I'm just gonna try to get focused, and I'm gonna be singing a little bit. So, which is the part of the game, which is supposed that Pac-Man is doing right now, and well, again, since the title of this game is 20th anniversary, and that's the main plot and the main reason behind the plot of this game. Because Pac-Man family was organizing a small party / dinner with family and friends in order to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Pac-Man. So that was like a small reunion at Pac-Man's home. But when everybody was arriving at Pac-Man's home, they began getting kidnapped. And also Miss Pac-Man was kidnapped here, so... Once Pac-Man arrives home because he was at work, or at least it looked like he was at work, he went into his house and saw that everything was destroyed, so it was like something really bad for him, and obviously something terrible to happen on his birthday. Then we start the game with the first cutscene that I have skipped. I'm gonna explain down a bit because right now we're gonna be watching the first escape of the game. Because with what I have done here, I have saved 30 seconds, so hold on. Okay, this is that. Hold on. I'm gonna explain a little bit what's happening. Okay, I'm safe. So what I have done here is to show, well, mostly to work around with a typical phrase that we used to find on speedrunning. Walls are optional, and in this game, that's not a lie because. We can see that there are a lot of things that probably you can think that they're solid, like some walls, obstacles, and that kind of stuff, but most of them are just graphics on screen and they have no hitbox, so there are no invisible walls over them. And since there are not invisible walls in general, a lot of things in this game, what I have done there is that I have grabbed a ledge from the floor and then I just move to a specific spot in order to reach that underwater section, because it's supposed that what I needed to do in the intended way is that I needed to complete like a small puzzle on the stage where I'm gonna be able to press a button which was gonna open an underwater door that will let me to access to that section. But instead of that, I have done what I've done and I have saved like 30 seconds in average. Well, as I had mentioned before, I need to be really careful with the amount of lives I have, and also that applies to the amount of health. So since I was low on health, if I receive a single hit, then I was gonna die. And for some reason, with that spider, if you reach that section having no additional health bars, the spider will get stuck on the top of the screen. It's never gonna get down, so you're gonna die there. I don't know why that happens, but that happens. I don't know if I'm the only person who suffers about that issue. So getting back into the plot of the game, once Pac-Man see that his house was a mess and was destroyed, he walks outside of his home. He was really sad about that. But then he saw some invitations to a party at Ghost Island that mentioned that you can meet the real Pac-Man in person. And obviously with that, he knew that something was wrong because that was a party and he was never invited. And so he decides to go to Ghost Island to investigate. Hold on. Investigate what happened, what's going on, because also Samuel and friends were not present in his house. And if we move to Ghost Island, we can notice that there's a big robot, which its name is Pac-Man, which tries to impersonate Pac-Man and turn into the real Pac-Man. and he ordered to another ghost to kidnap Pac-Man, but obviously they failed on the task, and they kidnap Pac-Man's family and friends, but no Pac-Man. So Pac-Man told to them that they need to work as fast as possible in order to stop Pac-Man and preventing him from saving his family and friends. And well, that's why we are here at the game. That's like the fall of the game. Something kinda common for late 90s games. So there's an additional one up here. I'm gonna grab it because there's a chance that I can lose a life trying to do what I'm gonna do. So this is another small skip that also save a little amount of time. I think this saves like between 30 to 50 seconds. Because I need to grab the next key to save the next Pac-Man friend, but I'm just gonna do this. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, I'm gonna die here, unfortunately, because it was not supposed that I received damage by that spider, so I missed an attempt to this, but I just grabbed the checkpoint to make sure that I can try this again. Third try, usually it's a good one. This was not the case. Now, come on, game. Focus mode activated. New game? Try it again. This has never happened before. Okay, I was kind of curious about what was gonna happen. Okay, hold on. Everything is under control. If I fail this again, I'm just gonna quit this stage and I'm gonna skip this entirely and do the next section. And you gain a little one up for this. Game? Ooh. Okay, this is gonna be my last attempt. If I'm not able to do it, I'm just gonna quit this stage and move to the next section of the game. Come on, game. Last attempt. Okay. I'm just gonna redo this stage again late in the run, sorry about that. But I don't know where my memory card is, so I cannot save my game with a backup. Or hold on, I think I know where I have some of them. I'm gonna try to look for them. But don't worry, we are gonna be doing the space stages first. Usually, when you're learning to run the game, it's better to do first the space section before you do the ruins one, which was the previous section of the game. Because once you complete this section, you can gain a lot of additional lives, and you're gonna be using that as a backup. I think that I have lost like 2 or 3 minutes, so probably. Well, I'm gonna try to do my best during the rest of the game in order to don't lose so much time compared with the estimate. We're still doing fine, so let's pretend that I have completed the previous section. So right now we are at the space section of the game. Right now this stage is called Space Race, and this is a pretty short stage with nothing interesting here. We're not gonna be getting nor the keys or a friend. So let's talk about how keys and friends work in this game. And I wasn't expecting to die there, so I'm gonna try to grab some additional stuff in order to get additional lives. Because in order to get additional lives in the game, also I need to collect as much points as possible, and that's like the way that I used to use all my side for. Well, with the boss stage of this section. So another small skip. Here, suppose I need to press some buttons in order to release this yellow button. That's gonna open this wall, but I don't need to do that. And I just do some jumps here, and I can skip that section entirely. That saves like 20 seconds, I think. I mean, it's not complicated to do that, but we're speedrunners. do not follow the game rules. We used to break games, and we have done that. Okay, some small missing inputs there, but still being fine. Now, this is far out, and at this stage we're going to be finding both the friend and the key. So there are a total of 6 friends slash family members from Pac-Man that we need to rescue in the game, because we have 6 sections. Now, so you're probably wondering, okay, why a character from Dig Dug, in this case Puka, was featured in this game? Why do you need to rescue that character if it's not from Pac-Man universe? Well, when this game was in development, the first concept of the game was a kind of 3D game with the same movement as Poxy 3D, and we know what happened with that game, so Namco took the right decision to start with over with the game production again and get rid of what they have done. Wait a minute, I need to focus a little bit on this section. It's a bit trickier than it looks. But basically, what I have done here, and I need to do again, is that I avoided this section, which is supposed that I need to use that rotating platform to move, trying to avoid those laser beams, but that's slower, so I simply try to don't do that. And also with the use of my zigzag, I can reach higher places. And there we go. And now we have rescued Professor Pac. Hello friends, Japanese version. I'm gonna talk about that in a little bit. Hold on, I'm trying to get focused again because I tried to don't say this, but somehow I'm forced to do it because first of all, English is not my main language, so I'm trying to focus on it and try to speak in a different language than the main one. And I say that because I haven't done any English streams on past month because I have been pretty busy. I have been kinda on a hiatus mode for speedrunning. So since I haven't run nothing, hold on, there's a lot. And I haven't made any streams recently. I haven't practiced with my English, so I'm just trying to get focused in order to don't mess what am I saying and try to be aware about what am I trying to and pretend to say. I don't know why I pressed the button. I never pressed that button. Again, that's why I try to be focused on what am I doing. Mostly since also I just took a 3-hour nap and right now it's 6:30 a.m. in the morning. Where am I living? Where I'm from, so this is not like an easy task for me, but the show must go. The show must be going. Okay, so why we have Puka here at the game? Well, when the game was in development, when they began again with the Pac-Man 3D concept, at first instance, the developers were trying to include some characters from Pac-Man universe. Sorry, from Namco universe. So some characters from Dig Dug series, from Mappy and other Namco games were intended to be in the game, and it's supposed that we needed to save them, but probably they got run out of time to do it, so in order to save some time, they simply decided to use Pac-Man Family and Friends. But since they noticed that they don't have so much characters, they decided to include Puka. Mostly since he's a ball, also to around, so it was not gonna be complicated to include it into the game, and that's why we have Puka here, this title. And well, talking about game differences, it's supposed that the optimal version for this game is the Japanese version, because basically that's like the easy mode of the game. Right now I'm playing the American version, which the main reason why this is not considered as the optimal version is because the American version is harder than the Japanese one, but unfortunately I don't have Japanese PS2 nor a Japanese copy of the game that I hope that I can buy at some point. And one of the main differences between the American and the Japanese version is that every time you get out of a stage, your health gets refilled. But as you have seen on previous stages, once I get thrown out of the stage, and I didn't have my health full, I never got it restored. And now, King Galaxian, my favorite stage of the game, and probably the main, and well, definitely the main reason why I like to run all levels. Mostly because, again, this is a kind of anniversary / tribute game for Pac-Man. But we have seen that that was not the only game we have seen featured here, so try to guess in which Namco game this stage is inspired. And also the reason why when people start to run this game tries to complete first the space section, it's because, as you have seen on this stage, you can have a lot of fruits, a lot of items that can give you a lot of points. So the most points you get, the most life you can also achieve in the game. And again, if you run out of lives, the only way to continue is just if you load a save game. But since we're not saving the game, that's not possible, because also that's a load that makes us lose time. And there are a lot of elements here that you can grab in order to get additional points. Mostly since the ruin section, it's a bit tricky / complicated to complete properly. Mostly due to its difficulty. It's not like it's something really hard / complicated, but due to the design of the stages and also the boss from that section is why you prefer to get additional one-up. You will see that in a bit. And now here we are with King Galaxian, the main reason why we have that name with this stage. We have 3 phases that we need to do here. Obviously, in each of them, I need to destroy every one of its eyes. I tried to go first with and destroy. I used to try to destroy first the eyes at the corners, because those ones are the ones that stays the most of the time out of the screen. And since on these phases it's a bit easier to skip these laser beams and enemies, I prefer to do that because, and a bit also, while I try to destroy the King Galaxian eyes, we're gonna be dealing with some additional beams. I'm just gonna try to get focus here, so I'm just gonna start a little bit with my commentary, mostly since I have nothing else to add, and right now the complicated section begins. And if I die here, I'm gonna lose also a good amount of time. Just gonna try to stay quiet once I destroy the next side. At least the good thing is that if you receive damage, once you destroy one of his eyes, you get a piece of health, so that's good. I'm mashing the square and circle bar in order to shoot as fast as possible. And also moving from the left to the right to avoid the laser beams. There we go. Oh my god, I was close to die at the last second. I thought that I got wrecked by that the lizard team. And well, I got additional 1-up, so I need to go back to the previous section because I haven't completed it at all. I need to avoid Professor Pac because I'm gonna lose time at that cutscene. Notice that my zigzag is not good when I'm moving to the left, so memes, I guess. So let's go back here again with what I was doing. I was gonna try to catch a checkpoint, and then I'm gonna die on purpose just to refill my health. And also the main reason that boss stage obviously was inspired with in Galaxian games. So shoutouts to Namco for doing that amazing boss fight. Probably that's definitely it's one of my favorite boss fights from any video game. I really enjoy when I play that stage. Even if I die and I suffer there, I really love to play it. So that's the main reason why I love to run all levels, because you don't play those stages in 100%. I really love that boss fight. I remember that when I was a kid, I struggled a lot trying to beat that stage, but also I was able to do it. I was really pleased and amazed about how amazingly good that boss fight is. Definitely, you can feel the love and effort put into that boss fight when you play that stage a lot. And I haven't died again because I forget that there was a piece of health at the beginning, so that's helping me a bit. There's a full restore here, so I'm just gonna try to be careful trying to catch it, disable it, and there we go. Now I have more lives to try again to get the skip, because instead of the skip, what I suppose that I needed to do is that obviously if I have went to try to do that, probably the speedrun should have lost its purpose, and I should have wasted a lot of time I have done here. But I didn't want to take any risks anyways, and this is a marathon, so I just wanna show what I suppose that I need to show. And also, since I was busy all this time, unfortunately I wasn't able to practice this game properly, so right now you're watching the rust of this game. I haven't played it in a few months, but I was just practicing a little bit before my time on stream came, and I said, okay, I'm not so rusty with my movement, so that should be good. And somehow that was true in some part. And also, since I have to grab the additional 1-up that was on the chest here at the top right of the screen, if I try to open that chest, I'm gonna get a piece of health instead of life. That probably I should have needed right now because I have forgot I had received damage, but let's try this again. And of course, that if I just decided to lose time in order to get additional lives and redo this stage again from the beginning. I got it the first time right game. I don't know why you like to do that, but usually that are a kind of thing that we as speedrunners used to deal with, so it's really normal. Because suppose that I need to press that button, and then here on this lever I need to chase the key and then go back and grab and open the door. And that's what I need to be the fastest way to do this, but obviously I didn't try to do that. So I just came here and said pack though. Also, this game got a remake back in 2022. I'm gonna try to submit the remake at a future Retrothon event. My time at the remake is not so good, so once I get a decent time, I'm gonna consider into submitting it also. to see the difference with the game. And now Anubis Rex, the second boss stage of the game. Again, this is another boss stage which is divided into sections. Here we have this first is a chasing section. Again, if we do some 6 seconds, we can go slightly faster, but every time I have an opportunity, I'm gonna try to do some dashings in order to try to save some time. I'm able to complete this as fast as I can. And this is the reason why when you're relearning the game, you try to complete the space section first as a backup, because you need a lot of lives with this boss, which is Anubis Rex. Which is a kind of pretty unfair boss fight to its difficulty. It took me a lot of lives and attempts when I was a kid to defeat this boss fight. I remember that I replayed a lot the previous stages just to get additional lives, because I really needed them in order to complete this boss fight. Even now, as a speedrunner of this game, I have been running this game for a good amount of time. I'm still having some issues trying to complete it, because you can see that this is a pretty simple boss fight where you just need to dash over these platforms and avoid the lava rocks and that tornado. And well, what is the difficulty of this? You may be wondering. Well, this is where the show begins. Again, we have 4 phases in this stage, but every time you begin on a new phase, something new is gonna be added to the difficulty curve. In this case, we also have. Okay, I have died. It's not supposed that I have died there, but again, when things happen. But the good thing is that I still being on this third phase. I just need to dash again over these platforms. Okay, it doesn't matter if I receive damage there. It's still doing good. The reason why this is the hardest to do, because after a while, as you can see, we also get some lava rocks getting shoot directly to the rotating platforms. So trying to avoid that, trying to avoid the tornado, that's something that obviously doesn't help us a lot. And now we have these laser beams that are coming through the Anubis Rex head. Okay, I'm gonna receive damage there on purpose. Now it's time to be careful. I'm just gonna wait for the laser beams. It's a bit tricky to avoid the laser beams. Not so complicated, but again, I simply don't want to take big risks. And there we go. Probably you have feel that this was something easy, but believe me, it's not. If you don't believe me and you haven't played this game, just give it a try and you will see what I'm talking about. I'm not messing with this. This is a really struggling stage. And also, talking about the remake, something good is that this stage was changed entirely at the remake. And I feel that definitely at the remake, this stage is more easier and more enjoyable. Because here at the original version, it's a big pain in your thumbs to complete this stage. Now, climbing around, we are at the circus section of the game. And when you play this game casually, you will notice that once you complete the first stage, you can access to also the second and third section of the island. But once you try to go far away than the space section, you will see a big wall that is preventing you from going to the next stages. And obviously, when you complete all the stages on the first 2 sections of the game, that wall simply disappears. But again, on the any percent category, there's a way to skip that wall. But again, we're at all levels. But I made a promise that I will, once I learn and dominate properly any percent, I'm gonna submit it here at the Retrothon, and if the RGL staff gives me the opportunity to showcase this game again, I really hope that I can show the any percent category, because it's more broken, it's more amazing. Even if you are liking what are you watching here, believe me, you're gonna enjoy it even more what happens at any percent. So here at climbing around, there's a stage where simply there's nothing interesting here. We have no key, no friends to get. So you have talking about the keys and Pac-Man friends. You will see that there's a pattern that gets repeated also. Let's try to skip this. It's supposed that we need to make the stairs go down, but doing some zigzagging like I have done there, I can skip the necessity of pressing some switches that are on the floor in order to make that stairs fall down. And with that, I save some good seconds just to keep going to the game. And also, it's not supposed that I climbed over these sections like that, but that's something you're able to do in the game. Probably not intended, but you can make them at the end of the day. Now, Barrel Blast, we're gonna be finding the key this section in order to save Pac-Man's friend. So you have noticed up to this point the pattern with the keys and friends, because there in some islands you can find, in the same stage you can find both the key and Pac-Man friend, and in other sections of the island like here, the fun house section. It's not called circus, it's called fun house. I have remembered the correct name of this section, this zone. For the fun house, first you find the key and then you find the friend. I'm really glad that Namco didn't put on the stage first the friend and then on the next stage the key. Otherwise that was gonna be really slow, because you will be forced into repeating on stage. Inevitably, speedrunning talking, that's not something good. Shoutouts again for considering that kind of thing when they were planning and programming this game. And also, when you have the crumble, you are kind of invincible. Okay, let's see if I can get this, otherwise I'm gonna do the intended way. Yeah. Okay, it's supposed that I can do a skip there, but it's a bit tricky to do, so I'm just gonna do the intended way. That it's to grab a lemon, open the door, and press that switch, and with that, a new platform is gonna spawn, and I can take that platform. Okay, okay, it's fine. I have got the checkpoint, really. And then I just need to grab this platform, and with that, again, increase it to the game. And it's good because besides I have lost a life, at least I have my full health right now, because I just had an extra piece of health. Before I have lost a life on that really dumb way to die. But when things happen, because also, probably you haven't noticed that, Pac-Man physics are similar to a ball. Because he can bounce if I am an inclined section, also he rolls down like a ball. Like, what happened here that simply made me die. It's supposed that I need to press that switch and then go to the left section of the stage, of this section, because there's a some stairs are gonna spawn. But if I just jump over that chest, like I have done, I can skip the necessity of that, because I was gonna lose time not only reaching that section, but also because the game freezes a little bit, showing you the animation when the stairs spawn. Really, that's not something good. And now, probably this is gonna be the first intended death that we're gonna be seeing on a little bit, and you will understand why. It was not necessary that I pressed that button, but I pressed it anyways, so nothing happened. So what I'm gonna be doing here is that I'm gonna complete this section, and then I'm gonna press this big blue button that is over here. And then I'm just gonna grab this checkpoint, I'm gonna go back, and I'm gonna receive some damage trying to complete this. Then I just grab the bell, and I lose a life on purpose. This is more definitely, doing this is more faster than just going back again trying to avoid any damage. Then I open the door and I grab the key and I can simply continue and progress into the game. I don't know what I have to grab those bananas, but I grabbed them anyways. I need to wait for these platforms in order to come down again in order to progress into the game. This is the last section of the game, so we're close to the end. And again, I need to be really careful, otherwise I can roll down and die again. Okay, I grabbed a checkpoint, so this is good. Also, some fun fact about this, as I've said before, there are a lot of sections where there are no invisible walls, like here. As you can see, I can keep bouncing here on the top platforms and move to the top section of the screen. This is something that doesn't happen on the remake. There are invisible walls that prevent you from going here at the top. And here. Now we're gonna move to Spin DC, the third game of the Funhouse section. Sorry, the third stage of the Funhouse section. And here we're gonna be saving the next Pac-Man for. Yeah, and also talking about that boss fight, I struggled again when I played again when I was an adult. Because I never completed this game when I was a kid. The only game I remember I completed as a kid was Rayman Raving Rabbids. That was like the first game I ever completed. Most of my childhood slash teenage times and games, I completed them as an adult. I pressed all of that buttons in order to make this platform spawn so I can progress into the game. Also, something additional that I need to mention is that I have talked before about the both American and Japanese version, but also there's an European version of the game, a full version of the game, which some stuff runs as slightly slower slash weird because it was kinda optimized for polar regions because okay, that was a really bad death, but anyway, no, that doesn't matter. I still have a good amount of lives. And well, we know that PAL games were not usually optimized, but this game kinda was optimized for PAL regions. The American version of this game was the first one that was released, and then the Japanese version. That's why some stuff were changed in that version of the game. So the PAL version is based on the Japanese one. So our health get refilled and everything. And also the movement is faster on the PAL version. But the PAL version is not used to speedrun this game because most of the stops we used to break the game were patched. So we cannot do the big skips there. So that's why the European version is not used to run this game. Because we know some few examples where the PAL version is the best to run, like Crash Bandicoot 2 or Banjo-Kazooie for any percent. And Pac-Man World was close to be one of them. So I needed to do a little turnaround there because there was an invisible wall. It's not supposed that I need to do what I have done here, because again I need to complete a small maze and press some buttons in order to activate the next section of the game. And since I haven't done that, something interesting about this is that you can see that these platforms are static, are not getting any animation, they're not getting any movement, because since we haven't activated the correct switches in order to keep going into the game, these platforms keep static and makes things really easier. We don't know why Namco decided to do this, but they decided to do it. So thanks again to them to do what they have done. because this makes things really easier here. Also, if you haven't given a try to this game, Casual Talking, I highly recommend you to give it a try. Still being a nice game, the only thing that I consider that that aged really bad / poorly is the division of this. So probably you will think that you are landing into some platforms when you are not on the same line as them. But ignoring that, this is still being a really good platforming game even up to this date. Yeah, I need to be really careful in this last section because I'm aware about how I am, so... When I began running this game, I used to die a lot and fail a lot on this last section. Even up to this day, but at least not so much as I used to do. Because I need to keep pushing this button so the next platforms get triggered, and also there are any problems move in a direction, but we need to keep going. And then we have saved Baby Pac. And also, as I've mentioned before, this game has a remake. But if you can play the original game first, I highly recommend it because some stuff changes in the remake, which makes some stuff easier and also more fun to play. But again, I highly recommend to play first the original game and then the remake. Mostly since some stages, mainly the boss fights, were changed. For example, here at Clown Freaks, this is a really entire race stage on the game. And it's more easier to complete, because here, if you die, you need to start over. Something that doesn't happen on the remake. So the objective here is to reach here on first place. And as you have seen, I have jumped really quick from the first place to third place. The reason behind this is, and this is something that, it's a theory that I have, because honestly I don't know exactly what happened, is that probably since I moved faster, I reach a point where not all clowns take enough time to spawn, so since I have reached that section where I just jumped some... Well, I have jumped the flag where the other clowns just get triggered and it spawns. They simply don't spawn anymore, so I jump a lot of places over there. And that's something good because this makes more easier to complete the stage. Again, I don't need to feel so comfortable about this because you're still having its difficulty. Mostly, the main problem is that the control slot burns slippery, which it makes some sense, considering that we are on a bumping car, but since there are no walls, it's so easy to fall down here. If you fall down, you need to start over again. Also, something interesting is that if you open the disc cover, and with that you prevent that the game loads the next section, and there's a way that you can also avoid the clowns really easily on that way. You just can keep going in your own way to complete this. Now it's time to move to the 5th section of the game, which is the factory section, the factory levels. Perilous pipes, nothing interesting here to collect. But in this category we're forced to play this stage as the category's name suggests. Also, I like to do this. That doesn't add something new, but an animation where the machines doesn't looks to work properly, but I find that fun to do. And also, here at the remake, there's an invisible wall, so you cannot do that wheel skip like I have done. I'm not supposed that I do what I have done here, but I like to do that. Now, with the next stage, usually the people divide into two groups. Once they read the name of the stage, there are two different songs that probably can play into your mind. But some people listens to a Queen song, and some others listens to a Vanilla Ice song. So which team you are once you knew that the name of the stage is Under Pressure, and then you listen to the riff. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Here Under Pressure again, nothing to collect, but unless this stage is slightly more interesting than the previous one, and also we see a small broken stuff too that we need to look with here. I'm gonna die and propose here because this next section is a bit trickier, and I prefer to. And for example, I should have died there if I haven't grabbed the checkpoint. And well, if I haven't died next to the checkpoint. And you have seen that besides this game has a lot of checkpoints, there's a good amount of time that you can lose if you die on those ways. Well, when things happen, things happen. I really enjoy to bounce over those enemies, not gonna lie. Okay, right now we're gonna be seeing a small skip here. Because here we have an underwater section, and usually in video games, underwater sections are really slow, and that's not an section of this game. So instead of going underwater, I'm just gonna keep bouncing over here, and then I'm gonna do some movements right here. And right now I'm out of bounds. I'm still on water, but I'm out of bounds. But what I'm gonna be doing is that I'm gonna be here on this specific spot, still being aware that I am out of bounds. Then I just move to this specific spot where I reach. Well, I trigger a loading section. I trigger the game in order to load the next section. And with that, I just continue like that, and I skip entirely the underwater section, saving like a minute on my way doing that. What I have done there is that you just simply do some jump with a zigzagging, and then just move over like in a up circle. You just turn around while you're zigzagging, then you can reach that out of bounds section. It's not complicated to do. Probably that's one of the easiest escapes you can perform in this game. And talking about easy stuff. What a good way to die there. I think that's the first time that I died like that on this section. There's a big button that says that I need to press it, but if I do it, because I have done that, the entire factory gets messed up. And then I need to go back. But also I need to be careful with my movements. Come on! I don't like how this looks. You know, down the tubes. This is another interesting stage, and probably from this category, this is the one where we're gonna be skipping a lot of things because, again, this is a pretty long stage. I'm not gonna take risks. Because this is a pretty long stage, and with what we're gonna be doing, we're gonna be saving like 2.5 minutes, and you will see why. Because what makes this stage really long and kinda boring is that, again, we need to deal with an underwater section. First skip, where we're gonna be saving 15 seconds. Because suppose I need to turn around with this platform, but if I do this, you just can simply avoid that and save 15 seconds. Again, something you're gonna do in the remake because they added an invisible wall there. Thanks, Ryu. I thought that I wasn't gonna see that joke. Okay, so right now, Pac-Man Journey is there, and supposedly we need to complete this underwater section, but we're gonna be doing something that probably is not gonna have any kind of sense, because this doesn't have sense. So what I'm gonna try to do here is that I'm gonna try to pass through this door. First time, I failed. So I need to put in this specific corner, then I need to make a small jump and move forward, then I'm gonna clip into the door, and then I just press up and right here. And I'm gonna hope and wait until the game decides to push me through the door. If it pushes me back, I need to try this again. Okay, second attempt. Because it's supposed that we need to complete third attempt, it's supposed that we need to complete the underwater section in order to look for the bell that we need to use in order to open this door. And we took 4 attempts to do this. I highly suggest to please, from the bottom of your heart, don't ask me how this works. Don't ask to any of the Pac-Man community how this works. We don't know why this works. It works, but we know it works. We don't know why, but it works. So we just simply do that, and we skip entirely the necessity of doing the underwater section of this game. And also, the reason why I skipped that checkpoint was due to this, because I needed to go back. Again, I just can walk back and walk through the door. I can do that without problems. But if I touch the checkpoint, the water was gonna rise up, so my movement was gonna be slightly slower in order to do that. Again, we don't know why this works, but it simply works, as you have seen here. And now, Chrome Keeper, the boss fight of this section of the game. So we need to grab these drum balls and press these switches, because these switches are hot and throw some steam, and they shoot some steam through them. And if we touch these switches without having the crumble, Pac-Man is gonna receive damage. And also we need to, well, as you have seen there, it's not supposed to have pressed that button that way, but I pressed it on that way. That was not intended, but when it happens, it happens. Because those big magnets can catch you, and it takes a little bit to get upside those magnets and keep pressing the button. I need to do this 6 times, and with that this boss fight is completed. And also something that I need to mention is that on the Japanese version, you need to do that 6 times. So that's the only reason why the Japanese version is faster. Yeah, sometimes it simply works. It sometimes I found interesting that sometimes with some speedrunning strats, somebody just tried to mess up things and they discovered they were able to do something, but they simply don't know why they are able to do it. They can do it. So I don't know. I really enjoy that charm of the speedrunning. Probably that's one of my favorite things. Some of the stuff that I really enjoy about speedrunning. And also, if I were playing Japanese version, this boss fight should end here, but since I am not on the Japanese version and I'm playing the American release, I need to do more stuff here. Okay, I need to wait here because I was gonna get grabbed by that big magnet. Okay, I already received damage, but... Oh wait, I received damage, at least. I thought that I ran out of time for the invincibility frames window. Okay, last one. Last time that I need to do this, and with that, we're gonna go to the final section of the game. Get me a lot, that's good. And there we go. You know, well, definitely I think I'm gonna run out of the estimate for a few minutes, so I really apologize about that. I was not expecting to do what I have done on the second section of the stage. When things happen, this happens, and I have added a ton of time to my estimate. I tried to put an hour and 20 minutes to my estimate, but I wanted to do just an hour and 16. Now, up to this point, it's safe to say not to feel so comfy that the run will be able to complete the run. Yeah, probably this is gonna be like a 117 or 118. Probably less, but I don't want to say nothing about that because I know how luck works on speedrunning, like we have seen right now. It's interesting how some stuff works. Oh my goodness, I always know that I don't need to do what I needed to do. But I don't know when is the correct moment to just say nothing. Well, definitely this is gonna be a 118. Okay. Focus mode activated. The good thing is that about this is that it's a pretty short stage. Come on! It's not supposed to just fall down of the coffins like that. So. I'm impressed that I'm dying like this. That's what I say, that it was safe to say, but it was not a good moment to feel penalty about completing this. Oh come on! I really hate those bets. On this stage. Now this stages, those bets are really annoying. And also they have a weird hitbox, so it's not easy to defeat them like that. I really hate those bats a lot. The division usually needs to be troll. Okay, this is gonna be a 119. Well, unless it is good to say that these are pretty short stages. I have lost like 6 or 7 lives on this stage. Yeah, this was a level. Usually, this used to be my worst stage at this section of the game, so I feel a bit confident about the next stages. So now, creepy catacombs. We're gonna find the key. Next stage. And also, if you haven't played this game, I don't consider that this is gonna be a kind of spoiler or something like that. Well, I consider this as a kind of hint that I'm giving to you so you will not suffer later. You can complete the game, you can progress, well, you can progress into the game without saving Pac-Man friends, but if you complete all the stages and you haven't rescued any Pac-Man friends, or unless you have one that you haven't rescued, the last boss fight doesn't get unlocked. And I mention this because I have seen a lot of speedrunners playing the game casually for the first time on stream, and then realize really late they realize really what I have told you right now, mainly because they just skip everything on the game, and then when they know that they need to save all Pac-Man friends and family, they need to go back and replay the stages where you find the key and friends. I need to grab again the crumble in order to be slightly safe. I need to have my health at full for this stage. Well, this section of the stage. Because I'm gonna do some damage boosting here, but it's fine because I have a full health store right here. And here lies the key. But I don't want to open the door in order to collect it. So I just skip like that, and I got the key on an unintended way to get it, saving additional seconds. Because I have avoided what it's supposed that I needed to do in order to grab the key. Last section of the stage. Yeah, unfortunately I'm gonna run out of the estimate, but this is not gonna be more than 120. I'm just gonna try to be quick as possible also with my outro, in order to don't compromise anymore the marathon. Great danger, we're gonna find here the next Pac-Man family member. I'm gonna die on purpose again because I need to have my health at full. And something good is that this stage is not so punishing as the previous ones. At least at some point, because the only problematic thing here, well, the mainly problematic thing, well, I knew that I can refill my health there, but in the past I have died a lot when I just started this stage without health, so I just wanted to be as safe as possible. So the main problems here are those clouds, because again the vision doesn't help you a lot. Okay, it's fine, that's not... Yeah, and we know why at the end he was not called Pac-Man. And definitely that was the best choice for Namco. Yes, it's not supposed that I have used that build to open that door there. It's supposed that I need to grab it on another build that was found later on the stage, but that's slow. That's just gonna make us lose time. And now, Toxman Lair, last stage of the game, last boss fight, really quick boss fight. It's gonna take us like 2.5 minutes in average time. So again, I'm really sorry that I've run out of the estimate. I was not expecting to repeat the stage and then to do some, well, that some additional stuff happened here, but when things happen, things happens. Okay, now, Darkman's here. The difficulty on this stage also is slightly higher in the American version because we have those blinky clones that we need to deal with, because in the Japanese and European version they are not present. And also I'm gonna show you something additional that I haven't showed you yet, the super shooting. As you have seen before, I can the pack that I grab, I can use them as projectiles, as bullets. And in order to make that this big kind of shooting, I need to use 10 packlets, but on the Japanese version you simply use 6, so it's more easier there. Okay, first phase completed, and the second section, well, these buttons are gonna spawn on the floor. I need to press all of them. A big magnet is gonna activate, then Pac-Man is gonna move to the middle section of the stage, and then this gets repeated. But I need to be careful and don't need to be on the ground because I'm gonna receive damage. I'm gonna be electrified if that happens. That's why I try. Well, you have seen what I was talking about. But I try to keep as safe as possible. Mostly to try to do this as quick as possible. That's why I keep jumping on the air, just to avoid receiving damage like that. And also the camera is really awful on this stage. And you have seen, for some reason, Puka most of the time is not gonna give you any health refiller. But sometimes he wanna do it. But it's a really small percentage. Okay, last pace, he's gonna begin dashing, trying to chase me like with a roll, but if I do that first, that's not gonna happen. So I need to, here for this pace, I need to be as much away as possible, otherwise he's not gonna try to chase me like a rolling ball. The time's gonna finish once I hit him for the last time, 2 hits and then I'm done. Okay, last hit. Okay, missed Pac-Man. I have used all my health, and that was time. Okay, 121.05. I really apologize about running out of estimate. I know that we have a good amount of time lost with the original schedule, but things happen when things happen. So time for my shoutouts and the outro because we need to move really quick to the next run. First of all, shoutouts to the RGL staff for giving me the opportunity being showcased here at the event. This is my first run. I still having more runs to showcase in the event. So I have another 2 games. I'm gonna be back on Wednesday with Snow Bros Special, which is gonna be the first time that I'm gonna be showcasing this game at the Retrothon event. This is a remake from the original Snow Bros games, Snow Bros arcade game. I have run the NES version a lot of times here before, not only the Retrothon, but also to a lot of RGL events. Thanks for GG's in the chat, and well, keep enjoying the event right now. We're gonna see more amazing games at the event. We're still having a lot of stuff to see, to watch here. This is just the beginning of everything. I was GhostSenpai, thanks for tuning in, and keep enjoying the rest of the marathon.